I, Shikha Singh, take this opportunity to introduce our next eminent speaker of the day, Mr. Shakti Tripathi. Mr. Shakti Tripathi is project manager at DSCE, handling a variety of responsibilities, including system administration, interfacing with student bodies, ESL, Thinking Lab, STAB, and mentoring early stage student startup. He also coordinates partner events such as EEC Summit and Tech Connect. He has a bachelor degree in civil engineering and master degree from the Energy and Resource Institute School of Advanced Studies, New Delhi, 2010. He worked at Accenture and Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. Before joining DSSE in 2014, he has been associated with entrepreneurship since his college days and enjoyed teaching, researching, and writing in his free time. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this DSC is the Desai Sethi Center of Entrepreneurship, IIT Bombay. So he has set up all this new center, Desai Sethi Center of Entrepreneurship. So he knows how to start and how to plan and how to execute from A to Z of any startup and entrepreneurial setup. So I think I didn't find anyone better than Shakti to talk about in this area in startup and designing and planning, because he did from the scratch in this IIT Bombay. So that I'm adding Shakti, excuse me, because I don't know, everyone knows about DSC.
So Shakti is a real Shakti.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Pandey. Now, I have a serious doubt if we really have participants. Can I have a quick hello on the chat from participants who are still awake and ready to participate?
Yes.
Can I request all the participants to just type a hello? Okay.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good. Very good. This is interesting. Okay.
In fact, instead of writing, they can say hello.
Okay, they can say hello. All of them can say hello one after another. Okay, they can do it for some time. And in the meanwhile,
I say hello. Yeah, because after lunch, it's a sleeping time. Say hello after unmuting yourself.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Participants, I have sent you 2 messages on WhatsApp. You must have received.
Good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon, sir.
Participants, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Participants, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have sent you 2 messages on WhatsApp group. Basically,
Yes,
I've sent you some material on Google Classroom. Please, download it and make it ready, because this is required in this particular session, right?
Yes. So can I start now?
Yes, sir.
And my screen is visible. Hi, I am Shakti Prasad Tripathi from the Desai City School of Entrepreneurship at IIT Bombay. I have the rare privilege of being the employee number 1 at the school. I was the first recruit at the school when it was still a project. And I have seen the journey of the school from being a project under IRCC to a center and finally to a school in 2019 end. Now, when Dr. Nisha Pandey approached me for this session, the first question I had in my mind was, what can I say that they already do not know? You are all faculty, and most probably you are already associated with the movement of entrepreneurship in India. And you must be undertaking activities, you must be having e-cells, you must be mentoring students. So I'm sure you must be knowing about business model canvas, value proposition canvas, how they're related, and so on and so forth. But that was a challenge, and that took me a lot of time to think and come up with an interesting framework that you would find interesting. And the bigger challenge I had was my session was in post lunch, the time which is a great time for a siesta. So I have to make it interesting as well. So the way I have structured this session is as follows. We have 2 hours, and if there's a need, we might extend it by 5 or 10 minutes. And in this 2 hours, we will look at what we do at the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship at IIT Bombay, because that in itself will help you understand how this subject is taught at one of the best places in India right now, and how we can actually explain the complicated theories associated with business plan writing to students. And after that, I have a full session on the different tools that we use to teach this art and science of business plan writing. And after that, we have like 30 minutes where I will assign all of you randomly into breakout rooms. That is exactly how we assign students in our courses. So that will give you a flavor of how this is done at IIT Bombay. And you are expected to create 2 slides. You are expected to create 2 slides. And I'll give you all the details when it comes in the deck. And after that 30-minute interaction where you are actually interacting in smaller cohorts, you would come up and you would send your slides to an email ID. We will share in the chat in a small time from now. And once I have your slides, I am more interested in the slide 1. Slide 2 is something you may or may not complete. And once we have your slide 1, I will invite 3 of you, randomly again, 3 of you, to present your slides for 5 minutes, and then we'll have a 5 minutes interaction when we will give feedback on how you can actually improve that slide, and how exactly you can take the kind of information you want from the students you are teaching. So now we begin the presentation. As I already told you, we have 4 parts. The first part is the discussion about the school. Second is the art and science of business writing. Third part, we have an activity where I'll put you into different breakout rooms. And the final part, you make a presentation. You can see that in the slide, half of the screen is full of book covers. So these are some of the interesting books that we refer and we use in our case studies and in mentoring sessions. My personal favorite is, of course, The Startup Nation by Dan Senor and Saul Singer. It is a story of how Israel became a superpower in a very, very small time. It may not be a superpower in the technical definition of the term, but imagine a country like India buying arms and ammunition from a small country like Israel. And what is interesting is both Israel and India gained independence at almost the same time, 1947, 1948. And Israel was a country which could come up with fighter plane industry by the time it was in late 60s and 70s. And we still do not have a fighter plane that can compete with the kind of planes that are produced by Israel. And the book is full of many, many such insights and stories on how they built the whole culture of entrepreneurship in Israel. That can in itself be a whole session of 3 hours when we discuss what are the experiments the government did, what are the experiments the entrepreneur did, and how actually they deciphered the secret of creating great startups. The next book that we have is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. This is very important for an entrepreneur because an entrepreneur always has a need to understand the big why of his life. Starting a company is not always about big money. It is not always about being famous, being featuring in Forbes, featuring in a huge news channel. It is not that. It can be something very, very deep inside that motivates an entrepreneur to create the kind of product they want. And this book is about a German psychologist called Viktor Frankl, who was caught in an Auschwitz camp. Germany had one of the most notorious camps, and Auschwitz was, in fact, one of the two most notorious camps they had, concentration camps. And it is about his experience in those camps and how he survived, because he had a meaning in his life. So it's again a very interesting book. And third book is something which is very relevant to the context. It is called Infinite Vision. And this book gives the story of Dr. V, who started the Arvind Eye Care movement. So because there are many teams right now, I can see, I mean, when I saw the brochure, I saw that the theme is social entrepreneurship. So I wanted to include at least one book that can give you good ideas about how this is done. Now, out of the many interesting things they are doing, what is most interesting is Arvind Eye Care gives you world-class treatment for cataract surgery and such other eye diseases. They call it needless blindness. The term they use is called needless blindness. And they allow you to pay anything that you would like to pay or you can afford to pay. So what that effectively means is you can have an operation, a patient can have an operation for 1 lakh, which can cost him 1 lakh, and he may choose to pay just 1 rupee and go get away with that. And still then, this model is a successful business model. They don't beg, they don't depend on charity. They do surgeries, which is like 10 times of what a normal American surgeon, eye surgeon does, and still they're profitable. So how do they do it? It is their story. And finally, the three books, actually there are more books. I just included 3 of them. One is Business Model Generation by Osterwalder, the Bible. Of course, anyone of you who is deeply associated with entrepreneurship for a certain time would know. And the reason I've kept their names here is some of you may be just starting on your journey of creating e-sales and mentoring students. So if you're just starting out and if you do not have an idea, these are some of the books that you can look at. So looking at the activities, the programs and activities that we have a BTech minor program in entrepreneurship. And we have mentoring programs, 3 different tracks of mentoring programs at IIT Bombay. One is the Ideas program, which was sponsored by the class of 1990 at IIT Bombay. We have an iIncubate program by the Gopal Krishna Deshpande Center for Entrepreneurship at IIT Madras. It's a partnership we have with them, iIncubate program. And we have a program for women entrepreneurs, which is again sponsored by CGI Canada. Now, what makes it interesting is Ideas program is a program where we encourage students to create startups from the stage they are in the course to the stage when they will actually graduate to an incubator. So this is specifically for the pre-incubation phase. And if you look at a program like iIncubate, although all 3 of them are mentoring programs, if you look at a program like iIncubate, it is for projects that start as master projects or PhD projects. And how do we take these projects to the market? So we call it lab to market journey. So if there is an interesting project, there's an interesting research student, a student who is doing research, interesting work, research scholar who is doing research work, interesting research work, we encourage these students to apply to the program. And in iIncubate, we specifically look at up to like 100 customer discovery interviews. I'm sure you must be aware of these stages when you identify idea, then you start looking for customer discovery and validation of the idea, and then you go for the next test. And when you look at women entrepreneurs in the campus and of course out of the campus, we have this program called IWE, that is Indian Women in Entrepreneurship, where we have fireside chats, we have dedicated sessions for women entrepreneurs, and we encourage teams, ladies from different spheres to come and interact with each other and create a strong and lasting bond in their entrepreneurial ventures. And if you look at networking and outreach activities, we also conduct a session almost like every 6 months, 6 to 8 months for international partners, where we recently, last year, in fact, no, it was not 2020, 2019 correctly. 2019 only we did a international workshop for the Asian Universities Alliance. It's a alliance of 15 to 18 top Asian universities. And we hosted these students for 7 days, and we introduced them to the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India. And they really liked it. You can if you would like to know more about this alliance, you can go to their website and you would find a complete report on what they did and what they learned during their stay at India. DG Symposium is one interesting symposium that we conduct every alternate year biannually. And this is again Deshpande Gopalakrishna Symposium, where we encourage all the stakeholders in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India to come together and debate some of the most pressing challenges and opportunities in the upcoming spaces, particularly those associated with entrepreneurship in India. And of course, if you go to the website, the school's website, our school's website, you can see who are the kind of people who graced it, and what are some of the topics that were discussed. The third type of outreach activity that we do is the India Innovation Growth Program, where students are given challenges based on particular areas, I mean, various specific challenges. And the top 30 teams who qualify for this are groomed for a given period at IIT Bombay for the technical aspects of the business plan. And then they are taken to IIM Ahmedabad again for like a 2 to 3 month period. There's a mentoring program for 2 to 3 months period for the managerial or management aspects of their business plan. Finally, we have a techie program, technology enhancement and quality improvement program. I'm sure many of you must be aware. So this program is basically for faculty like you who would like to learn more about entrepreneurship. Join us over a 5-day or a 7-day period. In fact, we have actually created a new format where we're experimenting with a 1-day format of condensing all that we teach, all that we share with students and the larger community in a half-a-day workshop, and where faculty like you will come and interact with us. It's called Invent, and I'm sure soon we'll share that information with you. This is a slide which has the photos of the many activities that we undertake. The first slide is, of course, as you can see, for the Women Entrepreneurship Launch Program. We had the ex-Chief Marketing Officer of Britannia, Anu Narasimhan, extreme left. And these are some of the women entrepreneurs from the campus. Now, what makes this interesting is starting with the rightmost lady, they're all IIT Bombay women entrepreneurs. So this lady who is sitting to the extreme right in this panel discussion, she's the youngest of them. Followed by somebody who is a little older, followed by somebody who's a little older, and followed by somebody who is like most old. In fact, Anu Narasimhan herself is IIT Bombay at IIM Bangalore alum. So all these ladies are from IIT Bombay, and they're entrepreneurs at different stages of their journey. And this is the second photo that we have is for the iIncubate session. Third photo is a boot camp that we hosted for the students in the campus, Ideas Boot Camp, when we select students for the different startup grants and programs that we had. And I don't think I need to introduce this gentleman here. You must have seen him, History Channel or Ethic. What is the channel? Epic. You can see his comments on Epic, Devdutt Patnaik. He was the keynote speaker in the Women Entrepreneurship Launch Program. Chris Gopalakrishnan from Infosys. And I'm not sure if you can see the other dignitaries in this photo, middle photo. They are basically Desh Deshpande and his wife. Finally, there we have these sessions for alum of IIT Bombay who would like to become mentors, and we encourage them to come and interact and give back to the institute. This is again a photo where it's the same photo. In fact, all 1, 2, 3, these 3 photos belong to the Women Entrepreneurship Launch function, iIncubate function, and finally the Ideas program. If you look at the BTech minor program in entrepreneurship, we start with a foundation course called Introduction to Entrepreneurship, which is for people who, for students in the campus who have never had an exposure to entrepreneurship. This is always recommended for people who are first-time entrepreneurs, first-generation entrepreneurs, and this helps them understand if they would like to take the courses beyond that. If you look at the other courses that we offer, we have a course for business fundamentals for techpreneurs. We have a managing technological innovation course, intellectual property, of course, something very, very important, marketing for entrepreneurs, technology venture creation, and 2 courses dedicated for prototyping. Now, what is interesting about these courses is each course is designed to cater to a specific stage of an entrepreneur's journey. So let's say somebody does not have any idea. There is a student who has no idea on how to start. So he or she is put into introduction to entrepreneurship. Now there is a student who is doing a very, very technology intensive project where IP is critical to the success of the startup. We encourage that student to come into the IP classes. And if they are in a stage where they are very close to a market, they are creating a go-to-market plan, we encourage them to attend the Marketing for Entrepreneurs course. Now, what is interesting is if you look at a course like Marketing for Entrepreneurs, This is very different from the typical marketing we teach in these schools. Because if there is a corporate house which has like 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores in its kitty, they will look at marketing, the marketing problems associated with the product in a very different way, because they have a lot of cash. They have a lot of cash, they have a lot of cloud, they have a lot of brand equity that they can leverage. But if you're looking at a startup, they have nothing. They are struggling. They have players who are strongly entrenched in the market. They would not allow them to get in. And they have all sorts of challenges related to resources, what we call in technological parlance as resource constraints. So they operate under tremendous resource constraints. Now, we encourage them to look at techniques where they don't have to spend a lot of money but still achieve substantial progress in their marketing goals. The final course that we have is technology venture creation. It's the capstone course that we offer at the school. This course actually brings together all the learning from the different courses and helps the students to launch the startup. This course was started by Professor Michael Lyons of Stanford Technology Ventures Program, STVP. I was really lucky, and again I consider myself blessed that I was a teaching assistant to him when the course was launched, the introductory session of that course. And two or in fact 3 of the startups that were part of this cohort, they are really big startups now, very big startups who had attended Michael Lyons sessions then. This course is modeled on MS&E 273, the course title MS&E 273 at Stanford, which is considered one of the 8 toughest courses at Stanford. Now, when I say tough, please don't misunderstand, because tough means for every hour the student spends in the class, they're expected to spend 3 to 4 hours beyond class. There's a lot of out of building activity that they have to complete. And when you look at the final 2 courses that we have, which is prototyping course, there's a developing proof of concept basic, developing a proof of concept advanced. The difference between these 2 courses is the first course is for people to get their hands set. Let's say there is a student who has never been to a lab, who is not from a mechanical engineering background or a course that has a lot of lab component, but he or she is interested in building a product that would need a lot of hands-on prototyping. So we teach them how to prototype in the first course, the basic course. And in the advanced course, they actually work on the product ideas. But please understand, in a campus like IIT Bombay, we do not have silos or very hard you can say very hard demarcations between courses. Now, if the faculty is confident that there is a student and this student is capable of doing an advanced course without doing a basic course, we allow them to go ahead. Now, eCell, the entrepreneurship cell at IIT Bombay, is a very vibrant community. They organize one of the biggest entrepreneurship summits in the country, and perhaps, according to some sources, Asia. They receive about 7,000 to 8,000 applications, B-Plan applications every year. They process it. I mean, when I came into the campus, I was like dumbfounded to see the kind of work they do being students. In fact, I had done a lot of this kind of activity in my college when I was a student, but nothing of this scale. The kind of activity, the kind of professionalism they use is just mind-boggling. Now, again, I will not get into details because we're running short of time. Some of the activities they do is the boot camp, which I've already shown you in the photo slide. Eureka is the B-Plan competition, which is Asia's largest. Okay, so I'm correct in the numbers I said. And the eSummit program, we have an eSummit coming up on February 6 to 7. It's going to be a virtual every year. They do it every year. And the National Entrepreneurship Challenge, where they encourage the colleges other than IIT Bombay to establish and set up eCells. And if you look at networking platforms, they have again many interesting ideas. Again, I mean, I'll not get into details of how they do it. There is ENP, there is OnTech Club, FCOF, SSP. These are just 4. I think the total number of such communities or clubs they have within eCell would be more than 10 or 15 right now. This slide captures all at least you can say 9 to 10 startups that have emerged from our school. Right now, the total number is somewhere close to 30. But when I say 30, please understand this 30 includes startups which are just completed their ideation, 2 startups which are into the market and asking for funds more than at least 100 crore. They value it at 100 crore. This is the interesting slide. I can spend again 1 hour just talking about each of the startups, how the idea started, what did we do, what did they learn. But again, we do not have time for that. Some other time we can take it offline. This is a place called Ignition Studio. And if you remember the two courses that I shared some time back in one of the past slides, this is the place where we encourage students to do hands-on prototyping. It is situated at the Industrial Design Center when we started it. This was basically a basement of Industrial Design Center, where they had used it as a storehouse of all the material and consumables they use at Industrial Design Center. We cleaned it up and we created this space. This has prototyping facilities starting with simple hand tools to power tools, 3D printers, and now of course there's a lot of other stuff that that was not there when we started it. And we encourage students to come and interact with each other, spend some time, and do their prototyping. Good. So that brings us to the end of the introduction of the school. Now we'll start with the real frameworks that I wanted to share with you. Before we move to the next part of the discussion, I would like to take one or two questions. If you have some questions, can you please type them in the chat? If you have any questions, I would encourage you to kindly type them in the chat. Okay, so I think we do not have any questions right now. So we will move to the next part of the session. The program for college teachers are happening when? Very good. So what I'll do is I'll request Dr. Pandey to share the database of all the participants right now. And once we add that database to our own database, so whenever we have this interesting events, we'll send you an invite. And if you are free to come, we would be most happy to receive you and host you. Does that answer, Umar Raman? Okay, thank you.
Sir, one question is your eCell also promotes social entrepreneurship, sir?
Yes, absolutely. We have a team called Abhyuday. And if you just Google about the activities of Abhyuday, you'll come to know kind of activity work they are already doing. Very, very interesting work. Abhyuday. The social entrepreneurship wing is called Abhyuday.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Okay. So let me move on to the next phase of the discussion. Is my screen visible? Can you please confirm? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Very good. Thank you. May I know your good name?
Sir, my name is Lenin Pant
Okay.
from Government Polytechnic, Nainital.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lenin. Okay. So if you look at this slide, I'm sorry, I'm using PDFs because I wanted to give you a certain experience. Before I show you all these slides, there is a website called Strategizer. If you remember, I shared the name of a book called Business Model Canvas, a very famous book by Osterwalder. And the publisher, the writer of the book, the author of the book is called Osterwalder. So they have created a site called Strategizer, and all these templates are taken from Strategizer. So I would not like to take credit for creating these fabulous templates. And that is point number one. Point number two, which is more important, is these are freely available. So if you create an account, you can actually download all these templates and start using them in your classes with your students for your reference. And these are really, really great sources. So to give you a taste of how we do it, I have downloaded all these templates to show you once. And if you find them interesting, you can always go and look up to these resources later. Okay, so whenever we start with the business plan, students want to do something and they have an idea, it's big. Please understand, they have to go through 3 stages, right? Those 3 stages are as follows. Stage 1 is problem solution fit, right? If I want to go to the moon, the problem is, how do you go to the moon? The solution, create a rocket. Now, that is a very easy problem solution fit. I want food, I'm hungry. The problem is I am hungry. The solution is go and eat some food. Now, if you look at problem solution fits, it's very easy to find, very easy, because if you look around, you will find 200 problems. And if you are not even creative, if you have some, if you are somebody with little common sense, you'll figure out the solution also. So problem, solution, easy. What makes this complicated is when you move to the next stage, as you can see on the screen, which is step 2, where you are looking at the market. Now the problem solution fit transforms into a product market fit. Now, when you're trying to create a product, you have to understand the constraints of the market. Now we'll use the 2 examples that we used in step 1, which is on paper. I want to go to the moon is an interesting problem to solve. That there are so many people who would like to go to the moon, spend some time and come back. But can I create a product out of it? Okay, let's consider the cost. The kind of people who go on space tourism, they spend something like 5 to 6,000 crore on shooting one man into space. How many people can afford that kind of ticket to go to the moon? So even if there is a market for this, the product is not something that the market can accept. This is where you need tools to understand how to create the fit. Now what happens is students find an interesting problem, they find a super interesting solution to this problem, then they jump onto creating a business plan. Now your job is to help them understand that problem solution is easy to achieve. That kind of fit is easy to achieve. But what is difficult is a product market fit. And even if they achieve a product market fit, which is like half the battle won, there's a still bigger battle waiting for you when you are looking at a business model fit in step 3. Now this happens when you are trying to scale up, right? So the tools that I will show you now will help you navigate your journey. I mean, I think the startup's journey through ideation to market. Okay, I think we will not do this kind of transition. It is taking some time. I'll simply show it to you here itself. Otherwise, these transitions will consume time unnecessarily. Okay. Now, I'm sure all of you must have seen the business model canvas. Now, I'll not talk about it because this is something all of you know, but we will talk about topics a little advanced when we're talking about business model canvas. Now, the revolution that business model canvas brought in business planning was, it was a one-page business document, right? I remember in 2007, when I graduated from engineering, civil engineering, I had partnered with an architect friend of mine for a business plan competition at IIM Bangalore. And we were required to write a 30 or 40 page business plan. 30-40 page, and that too because the other guy in my team was an architect. He actually created beautiful drawings and all those layouts of this restaurant idea that we had. We can discuss that offline. Now when we created that, it was like a hell lot of work. 40 pages, all formatted properly, all colors together. The font had to be perfect, the pictures had to be in just the right place, fitting together. Now business model canvas reduces all that donkey work to just one page. So for you to understand if a business will work or not, you just have to create one page, one snapshot of it. And then you know whether it's going to work or not. It's like an X-ray, right? Now, because it is a social entrepreneurship event, the event that we are attending, all of us are in right now, please understand the same model can be adapted to a social situation, right? If you compare these two, okay, let me create it. Okay. Now, if you look at all the boxes, I'm sure you must be knowing key partners, key activities, key resources, value prop, customer relationship, channel, segments, revenue stream, and cost structure. How do they change or transform when you are looking at a social problem? When you look at a social problem, the key partners, key activities, and key resources blocks remain the same. Value proposition remains the same. But when you look at customers, you do not have the usual customers that you have in a typical business model canvas. You have a block for people or teams or entities from which you need buy-in and support. People who should support you to create these business plans, right? Or make it successful. And then there has to be a deployment plan. Let's say you are Goonj and you would like to collect used clothes and then tie up with somebody like Myntra and help them disseminate these clothes everywhere. Then how do you deploy this model on ground? Then there is this whole idea of beneficiaries. if you understand the whole logic of business plans and business models, you would not, feel any difficulty in understanding that beneficiaries are actually customers. But in social entrepreneurship, beneficiaries may not always give you the money, right? And when you look at costs, both these, canvases have 9 blocks. If you count them correctly, they are all 9 blocks. But the first part of the block here, it is just called cost structure, and here it is called mission budget or mission cost. And what is more interesting here, I think that is the biggest difference between the two canvases. In the first canvas, you have revenue streams, and in the second canvas, you have mission achievement and impact factors. So what you actually gain out of a social entrepreneurship venture is not always money. It can be impact. It can be the number of lives saved. It can be number of children saved from malnutrition. It can be number of safe pregnancies you could achieve. Now that is not something you can capture in terms of dollars or greenbacks. Now this is a very, very interesting slide, and I'm sure you cannot grasp the full meaning of this in this 2 hours that we are discussing. But I would encourage you to actually pull this out and study it at length before you can actually start feeling enlightened by seeing this. I mean, I was surprised when I saw this slide. It is beautifully done, beautifully done. Okay, now we start. Now, if you look at this slide, I'll just scroll it down and then explain what it is. You see, the first part is a business model canvas. Can you see my cursor hovering? Can you see my cursor? Please say yes. Can you see my cursor hovering?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, this is a typical business model canvas. No points for guessing that, because you see the 9 blocks and whatever, right? This is easy to do. As faculty, there is not much of creativity involved in doing this. But what is interesting is if you look below, go down, there are 2 blocks in which you need to work. And because I have been a TA for a very long time, and even now I am a TA, teaching assistant, you can say I think I'll soon make a Limca book of records for the longest tenure as a teaching assistant in a school, right? It's like 7th year running, right from the day 1 of the courses were launched. And I have been a TA in all the courses, each and every course at the school. When students come to me, when we have these assignments, we give them a blank business model canvas and we request them to fill it up with their idea. They say, sir, ये करना कैसा है? Value prop लिखते कैसे हैं? कैसे बनाते हैं value prop? And when we look at customers, they just fill up some random detail about a customer and fill it up. That is not how you can create a lasting business. There is a way, there is a technique you use to create a value proposition. There is a way, there is a technique which you use to identify a customer. And that technique is called a value proposition canvas. I've seen many places where they treat these two as separate entities, but this is perhaps the only slide I've seen on all these years where they're actually trying to relate these two. And unless students are able to relate these different frameworks, they'll always come up with answers. They'll always come up with ideas that are fragmented, disjointed, and they'll be confused always. Once you understand, because you see, if you look at these 2 columns, these 2 blocks, customer channel and how do you actually take your product to the customers? Students get confused between customer segments and customer channels. They use these words interchangeably and then they lose marks. So when I started, I mean, for a long time, even I was thinking, what can I show them, or how can I tell them the difference between these two, using a diagram? And then I found this where we are actually, talking about these 2 entities. So today's discussion will be basically the advanced topics related to value proposition canvas and advanced topics to business model canvas. But please understand, there's a relationship between these 2, and once you get this relationship correct, all the other frameworks that I talk about will fall in place. Okay, so this block is value proposition canvas, and for this you use the value prop part of the diagram. Sorry. And if you look at the customer segment part, for that use something called customer profile. The circle below this is the customer profile. So okay, now whenever students come to you for your views, madam, मैंने business model canvas बनाया है, so how do you think, is it a good idea, bad idea, right? Now there are 2 ways of looking at it. Students who come from good background, they have been in an English medium for at least 10 years of their life, and they have a good reading habit, they can write about anything and any topic, right? So there is a natural penchant, you can say, for faculty like us to award them good marks because they are very articulate. They can write well, they can talk good English, but that is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about finding opportunities that will actually click, right? Now for us, when in fact, I come from a civil engineering background. I've done my master in water resources management. So this was all new, that, you know, how you actually evaluate business plans. So I was always evaluating them through a rubric or a matrix which had all the right answers. But in entrepreneurship, there is never a right answer or a wrong answer. There is always a better answer, right? So if you're looking at a business plan, you have to look at parameters which an investor would use. You're looking at parameters which a co-founder, which an angel investor, which a promoter would look at to evaluate the plan. Now, this is a rubric that I found at Strategizer, which you also can use. Now, if you're comparing two business plans, right? You want to do A or you want to do B. So if A is better than B, how do you decide? There is something called a switching cost. If I switch from my present state of affairs or present product to your product, what will be my switching cost? Let's say I'm using a simple lamp in my house, and you want me to switch to CFLs. The business plan is I'll supply CFLs. So you will have to understand whether the customer will be comfortable switching, because if the switching cost is like 50,000 for me, I'll have to break away all the wall, all the decoration, and install new lining, and then create a new platform for this lights to be installed. Then this is not a great plan for me, right? And at one end of this switching cost, you have nothing holds my customers back from leaving me. And other end of the customers is my customers are locked in for several years, right? So I can actually pick, interesting cases where this applies, but we don't have the time for that. I would like to give a snapshot of all the frameworks. And if you'd like to discuss, I would love to discuss it offline with you. And there's a parameter called recurring revenues. If there's a business plan which has, which is transactional, based on transactional sales, which is also 0.3, which typically means it's a one-time sell, right? And then there are business plans where people come and buy and subscribe to your product over a period of time. Like you are subscribing to Netflix, you are subscribing to Amazon Prime. So there you are actually, paying the service provider every month or every year. So that is definitely a better business model than buying something one time and then having no relationship with the customer. And point number 4 is again interesting, game-changing cost structure. Now, there are interesting case studies we can launch into, but we don't have the time for that. How service providers, OTT platforms like Netflix, Amazon, they changed the whole idea of rental services, video rental services, because they had a game-changing cost structure. Let's say 15 years back or 20 years back, when we had VCRs, I remember I've used a lot of them when I was a child, I was a kid, right? You actually rented a cassette, this big cassette. You would find them in museum now, because I don't think many of us will have it anywhere. Now, these VCRs were rented for a certain time, used, and then returned. Now, if I were to watch 100 movies, I had to buy 100 cassettes or rent 100 cassettes. Now, if I go to Amazon, there are thousands of movies for a fraction of that cost. So that is a game-changing cost structure. So when students are creating business plans, they have to look at some kind of a value proposition which creates this game-changing cost structures, right? Others who do the work. This is again a very interesting point to evaluate business plans. Let's say you are a Facebook, right? In Facebook, there are a lot of content. There is a lot of content that is not created directly by Facebook. Let's say I am a cooking enthusiast. I create some interesting video on how to cook some cake, some mithai or something, and then load it. And if people like that, this goes viral, and I have a lot of friends commenting, it's being forwarded, shared, reshared, reshared. That makes it very interesting for Facebook, because the more people interact on this platform, the better it is for the business model it has, right? Again, it might be a little controversial for me to discuss how exactly Facebook makes money out of it, but we'll keep it away for the time being, right? Then, of course, the scalability factor, if a business is scalable or not. I remember one of the first sessions I attended at IIT Bombay 2014, when we started, and we had Professor Raj Jaswal from Silicon Valley. I've been a teaching assistant to all the faculty at our school. I am doing it right now. He said, Shakti, there is a very simple rule to evaluate if a business plan will succeed or not. I said, sir, what is that? If a business is repeatable, if a business is profitable, if a business is scalable, you have money. Go ahead. But if it is not repeatable, if it is not scalable and repeatable, scalable, and what was the third thing? Can you please repeat? I forgot. What is the third thing? Repeatable, scalable,
profitable.
Thank you. May I know your good name, madam?
Lakshmi Priya.
From?
From Christ University, Bangalore.
Great, madam. Thank you. It's great having you, madam. Great having you. So business has to have profit, business to be repeatable, business to be scalable. Now, by repeatability, I mean, if I am able to create a product now in Bombay and tomorrow I have an offer from Bangalore, I should be able to put up a manufacturing unit in Bangalore and do it. Now, if you look at a business model like McDonald's, right? They have standardized the procedures, the spaces, the ambience to such an extent. If I have to pick randomly any place, you tell me, they can send their team and create a MACD and create a MACD experience, which is exactly the same experience you will have in Manhattan, London, or any other place in the world. A burger would taste exactly the way it tastes in London. The burger would taste exactly the way it would taste in Punjab or any other place, right? So that is one parameter you can use to achieve scalability. And of course, the last point is protection from competition. What it means is there's a lot of competition we see around, right? And it is anybody's guess, like how do you go about working with competition? But sorry, what I'm trying to say here is there is a way of analyzing competitors. There are frameworks, there are rubrics, and once students start using this, they will never be afraid of competition. They will actually love it because this analysis will give them a lot of hints on what will work and what will not work. Okay, now we'll go fast. This is one of the first templates that we share with students. It's called the ad lib value prop template. The word ad lib means something done impromptu, without preparation, right? So if you have to create a quick value proposition, you can just fill up this line. Our product and service, just fill up the product that you are trying to build. Helps, what is the customer segment? Who want to, what is the job they want done? Buy, so how exactly are you trying to do that? And increasing and enabling. I mean, basically it means how exactly are you trying to do it? And the last part is unlike, which means how are you different from your competitors? How are you different from your competitors? So if you just fill it up, I'm sure like we are all faculty, very, very senior faculty. And if you just try to fill it up, you can fill it up for all the companies, all the products that see you around you. And then you start understanding how is each product different from the other product that you have in the market, right? I'll give you one example again, because it's a closed session. I will not try to comment on that. I mean, it might be a little controversial, but I'll just share it because we are all very mature. What is the price of 1 kg of salt? What is the price of 1 kg of salt? Can I have some answers, please? In the market. Normal.
30 rupees.
Okay, good. May I know good name, sir?
Deepak Chauhan.
From?
I am from Graphic Era University, sir.
Where is it? Dehradun.
Dehradun, Uttarakhand.
Great. Welcome. Now, if salt is available for 30 rupees a kg, if I tell you that there is a salt, again, cooking salt, it's not the other kind of salt we use in chemistry labs, that is priced at 130 rupees per kg. What will be your answer? Can somebody sell the same salt that you use for cooking for 130 rupees? 4 times.
Yes, sir. It is possible.
How? May I know a good
Because
name, please? May I know a good name, please? Please identify.
Lenin Pant from Government Polytechnic, Nainital.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Sir, basically, then the producer will have to tell the characteristic or the value that salt contains.
Good.
Means simple salts and some other salts. From,
you are getting it. You are getting it
from other areas.
Leninji, you are getting it. I'm sure you will make a great mentor in your college. Very good. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
You're getting it. Now, there are certain characteristics that we look for in a great value proposition, right? The reason I'm showing you these templates is whenever you are looking at a business plan, I would beseech you, each one of you, please do not evaluate it from the point of view of language or English. Because somebody who has had 10 years of English education is definitely going to write a better value proposition just because he's read more, just because he's seen more, just because he's listened to good English all his life. He can write better than any other guy who has not had that exposure. But that is not how you evaluate value propositions, right? You have to evaluate value propositions through a certain rubric. Now, if you look at it, all these templates have been shared with you. You can look at them leisurely. I'll just quickly take you through this. Now, if you look at a good value proposition, we are looking at the first point here. A good value proposition focuses on the jobs, pains, and gains that matter most to customers, right? What are the jobs that the customer wants done? What are the pains that the customer is suffering and what are the gains the customer would like to have from the product, right? It focuses on unsatisfied jobs and unresolved pains and unrealized gains. So the moment you share this kind of rubric with students, the moment you start looking at it from this perspective, you know that now students have some answer. They will not give you random answers. They will not give you off the cuff answers. They will not give you something which they are just copy pasted, because they will have to think at a deeper level, right? They go beyond functional jobs and address emotional and social jobs. So this will actually take them to a very, very different level, right? Okay. One more point I'd like to share. I can actually go into very, very deeper level here with each of the points, but I'll just talk about one or two of them. They outperform competition substantially on at least one dimension. Let's say you are creating a product and there's already a plethora of products in the market. We use this very interesting example of a mouse trap, right? There are already dozens of mouse traps around you. But if you can create a better mouse trap, you have a market. What students need to think about is how do they create that better mousetrap? It has a simple mechanism. There is some kind of a door. There is a bait here. So once the mouse enters, the bait stops. I mean, for the bait, the door stops, right? That is a mechanism. But if this is so simple, what differentiator can you bring into the mousetrap that will help you capture the market? And the last part is are difficult to copy. So when you are looking at such products when you would like, products not to be copied, you have to build something called a moat, M-O-A-T. Moat is that small water body that in ancient times was built around all these castles, and it was filled with water and crocodiles. So anyone who wanted to enter the castle actually had to negotiate the moat and come inside. So whenever you're creating a product and if you do not have a moat, something that protects you, right, it's very difficult and it's very vulnerable to be attacked. One major mistake students make in this case is they think that having an intellectual property patent, IP patent, is a moat. IP is not a moat. Please understand, IP is never a moat. Because in a country like India, if you have a product and I want to copy it, there is very, very less chance of you preventing me from copying you. Because you would never see me, you would never know where I am located, where my factory is located. I'm just flooding the market with a copy of your product, right? So you have to understand that patenting is not the only type of mode or very effective mode of creating modes. This is the value proposition canvas that I was talking about. And if you can see closely here, where I'm hovering my cursor, this is actually related to these two segments or these two blocks of the business model canvas. This part, the circle, is called customer profile, and the left part of it is called the value proposition, right? If you look at it, there is a one-to-one correspondence between the customer profile and the value proposition. Gains, gain creator. Pains, pain relievers. Customer jobs, products and services. So unless there is this one-to-one mapping between what the customer wants and what the product does, you don't have a business. The moment you start showing these canvases to students, and when the students are coming for a discussion, you say, "Bhaiya, jo bhi bolna hai, is pe bolo." Whatever you want to say, I'm okay with that. But use this framework and start talking. Then their structure, the structure they have inside their mind, right? The mental model they have in their mind starts gaining clarity. Okay. Now, I'm sure many of you must have seen this diagram if you are already into entrepreneurship education and talking to entrepreneurs. So I wanted to introduce you to a still higher level of looking at these kind of canvases. Now, if you look at this sheet, it is about customer gains. Customer gains as in one of these. So now I will show you 3 or 4 sheets which talk about each individual part of customer profile and then each individual part of the value proposition, right? So now we start with the customer gain, this part, the smiley. When you look at a customer gain, students again come back to me with one statement. Sir, customer gain kaise nikalna hai? They want a formula for everything. These IIT guys, they want a formula for everything, right? Kaise nikalna hai? So if you look at this sheet, it has many interesting questions, right? I will not read out these questions for you. It will take time. I'm sure you can look at them leisurely whenever you would like to. This is all available in the folder that I've already shared and also freely at Strategizer. But what is interesting is the Socratic principle. Now, so once Socrates was with some of his friends and they were having a very interesting conversation, In the conversation, Socrates proclaimed that you don't need to teach anybody anything. All the knowledge that we need is inside all of us, right? And there was this slave boy standing next to them, holding some water, glass, wine, whatever. And out of pure fun, his friend pulled out that slave boy, 10, 12-year-old boy, and he put him before Socrates. Isko padha loge? Ye pad lega? He's a slave boy. He has never been to a school all his life. He has been tortured all his life, right? Can you teach him Pythagoras theorem? Socrates took that challenge. He said, yes, I can do that. So that's a very interesting conversation. You can Google and find many places. This story comes in different variations. But the idea is Socrates started asking him questions. Okay, if I draw it like this and then draw it like this, what will be the relationship between these two sides? If I draw it like this, what will be the relationship between these two sides? So that is how he started with, something which is like zero. This guy doesn't know what is a triangle. This guy doesn't know what is a square. This guy doesn't know how they are related, or equations, or all this symbology, equal to, plus, minus, all the symbols that we use in maths. But at the end of the day, Socrates could teach him Pythagoras theorem just by asking the right questions. So when students come to you for a business plan, for a feedback on business plan, you should not solve the problem for them. That is not the correct way. This is the mistake I was making when I started mentoring students like 7 years back. I used to, I would become a consultant for them. I would Google, I'll burn the typical, the midnight oil, and then try to find the answers, try to do a customer discovery for them, try to do competitive analysis for them, and have my own metrics for discussion. But that is not what we want. What we want is, we encourage the idea that you have to ask the right questions. Now, what are the right questions? You will find here. Even I don't say these are the only set of questions or the exhaustive set of questions. These are only indicative questions, just to help you start thinking. If they're looking at customer jobs, you see in here, you can look at the customer profile part where these questions are relevant, right? Here, what are the trigger questions? Okay. What is the one thing that your customer couldn't live without accomplishing? So whatever the product, it could be a new car, it could be a new mobile phone, it could be a new tablet, PC that they want to build. Fine, you don't have to bother about it. Ask them one simple question. What is a hair on fire need? What is it that a customer is willing to give all he has for that one product? A very interesting example used by Professor Devdeep. I think he must have addressed you some time back, Professor Devdeep. He uses in his classes, if there is a man in a desert and he has not had water for 3 days, you offer him a glass of water, right? What will be the price of the water? Just one glass of water. And imagine there is a man sitting in a hotel, he's had great lunch, right? Great lunch, sumptuous lunch. He's had like 3 or 4 liters of sharbat, chach, and whatever. So it's completely full. Then you offer him a glass of water and ask him what is the price you will pay for this. You have to understand the difference of the context. The moment you understand the difference of the context, you have nailed it. This is again the same way I have shown the other sheets: customer jobs, customer pains, customer gains. So what kind of questions you ask when you are looking at customer pain points? Again, now if you remember for the value proposition canvas, this part of it is the product part, or the value part, the value that a product will bring. The first part has to confirm or correspond with the gains that a customer expects. You see, there is a match. Customer needs something, you are building something. Unless there is a one-to-one match, you will not have a great product. Let's say the customer expects something which is, okay, I'll give you a very concrete example, very concrete example. We'll take the same salt example, right? The customer is willing to pay only 20 rupees for the product, right? Or the customer expects that if he eats salt, he should not fall ill, he should not have iodine deficiency, right? And if you are building a product that does not give him that benefit, but gives all other benefits, it's not going to work. Because you have to do something that the customer values and is willing to pay for. Let's say there are 200 other types of diseases that this new salt will prevent, but not iodine deficiency. Then this is not going to work. Because the customer is concerned only with iodine deficiency. So once the students start looking at the problem from this perspective, they will not have a problem of creating a product which the market needs. One of the biggest problems I've seen in students when they come to us is they are not creating solutions for a problem. They are coming up with a solution looking for a problem. They are not creating solutions for a problem. they are coming up with solutions looking for a problem. This is the product we have. अब कौन खरीदेगा बताओ इसको, right? But there are ways to do that also. But technically, you should always encourage them to start with a problem statement. Okay. Similarly, pain relievers. What are the pains the customer has, and how do you create a product that will help him save time, help him save money, help him save effort? Okay, I think this is perhaps the last slide. Okay. Always remember there are many interesting books. I'm sure you're all faculty, you must be having great reading habits. And you can share some of this reading list with your students to encourage them to start thinking about entrepreneurship. The book called Lean Startup by Eric Rice, one of the first books I read in this context. Very impressive case studies. And what else can I figure out? I've read already. Some good books, End of Competitive Advantage, Cradle to Cradle, Tipping Point. Yes, Tipping Point also is a very good book. Tipping Point, Jugaad, The Innovator's Dilemma, of course, by the great Christensen from Harvard, one of my somebody I really look up to. Okay. Now we come to the test part of it. If there's one more slide, no, I think we have reached the end. Fine. So we have exceeded, overshot by just 10 minutes. So I think we can complete. Now this is the assignment. You have 2 sheets that you will find in the folders that I have shared. And okay, let me stop screen sharing now. Okay, so let me take some questions, then I'll explain. Is there any question right now? You can type in the chat box.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, actually, you have given a lot of canvases and you have opened up this area. You have given us very valuable insights. We can use these templates while interacting with the students, and they will definitely get benefited by them.
Good.
Sir, one question is in normal cases, in normal enterprise, we talk about competition also. But for social enterprise, we talk about collaboration. There is actually no competition. Like Professor Yunus was saying, even Arvind Eye Hospital example that you have given, case study. Now, sir is thinking about removing blindness as such. Now, when we are thinking of removing blindness, anybody who can collaborate, so there is no competition aspect in that thing, sir. So what is your take on this, sir?
Very good, Mr. Lenny. I'm loving it that you asked this question. So whenever you are talking about competition, please understand, competition is made up of 2 words, competition, seeking together, right? Now, remember the hare and tortoise story? Bachpan mein suna hoga, hare and tortoise, right? They have a competition and hare is running, but he's faster, he is overconfident, he sleeps, tortoise धीरे धीरे निकल गया आगे, ठीक है? बचपन में सुना है ना? That is competition. If somebody is a tortoise and competing with a hare in a running race, the hare is going to win any day. वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता. Tortoise is gone case, right? But the day the tortoise realizes, okay, I'll tell you the story again. In fact, I'm sure some of you must have heard it on a Facebook or WhatsApp, but I'll tell it again for people who do not know. First time the hare and tortoise have a race, तो hare जाके सो जाता है, tortoise आगे निकल जाता है, hare फिर हार जाता है. जब hare हार जाता है, rabbit हार जाता है, वो सोचता है मैं क्यों हारा, right? And then he comes to the conclusion that the reason I lost was overconfidence. So he again goes and challenges tortoise कि भैया आओ और दूसरी बार करते हैं race. This time, what do you think? Will the hare sleep? No, because he's found his weakness. So competition में ऐसा होता है, whenever you bring a new product and you actually beat many other existing products, the existing products are not going to stay back because you won, right? They will not be depressed. They are again upping the end. They are again regrouping and redesigning their game plan, right? So this time the product they will bring up in the market in the second phase, that will be something that is way beyond what you are offering. तो उसमें क्या होता है, सेकंड टाइम जो रेस हो गया ना, हेयर जीत गया क्योंकि वो सोया नहीं और टॉर्टोइस हेयर से भाग सकता नहीं ज्यादा. तीसरी बार क्या हो गया, टॉर्टोइस गोज एंड challenges the hare. भैया अब आ जाओ, अब रेस करते हैं. Now what do you think? Who will win? Hare or tortoise? Mr. Lenin, what do you think?
Tortoise.
कैसे जीत गया? You know?
Because he has identified his area where he is strong. मतलब ना?
नहीं, ये थोड़ी हमारा सेमिनार हो रहा है. वो जीता कैसे वो बताइए. स्टोरी में कैसे जीता? Now I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anyone who has the answer? Anyone who has the answer? Tortoise जीता कैसे third time? Tortoise जीत गया. I gave you the answer. Tortoise जीत गया. कैसे जीत गया? There is no way a tortoise can run faster than a hare. If you compare their anatomies, right? They cannot do that.
The rabbit slip might be again.
No.
The
That is not the right
rabbit
answer. Not the right answer.
Sir, if I'm not wrong, correct? Just correct me if I'm wrong.
Please.
Has the tortoise taken the hare on his back and gone together? Teamwork?
No. The tortoise in my story is very competitive. It will not do that.
Sir, one more
You
thing
are
I
not a
just want
social
to add
entrepreneur.
upon.
Sorry.
One more thing I just want to add upon.
Please.
People usually do says that when you cannot win, then you just offer something which is very much very much attractive to the opponent person, so that you win the case and the other person loses the case or something like that. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Good shot, Miss Kausambi. You are from?
Sir, from Asansol Engineering College, sir.
Brilliant. But that is not the right
Thank
answer. Not the right answer.
Okay.
Any more guesses?
Okay.
Any more guesses? Yes, Miss Cinderella.
It probably collaborated
must have-
with the bird.
it must
No
have-
collaboration. My daughter is competitive. They छोड़ेगा ऐसे. No collaboration, no going on back, no nothing doing. वो नहीं करेगा. वो
It must
हराएगा
have
हमको.
kept some carrots on the route.
Good, carrots. Again, not the right answer. और कुछ? और
Sir,
कुछ?
I have read the
My
case.
tortoise is ethical. My tortoise is ethical, so it will not do indulge in such under the belt, under the table kind of activities. It will not do that.
Changed the context. Maybe it started racing in water.
Brilliant. Who is it, madam?
Cinderella.
Yes.
Miss Cinderella. No. Can I have some clapping in the chat for Miss Cinderella?
Thank you so much.
Please. Some clapping in the chat. Is that icon? Okay, you can clap.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. That is exactly what the tortoise did. The tortoise understood my strength is water, where hare is not going to work. वो नहीं होएगा, उससे वो तैर नहीं पाएगा, right? So that is how the tortoise won the race, right? So you have to understand, even if you are a social entrepreneur, you cannot depend on charity all your life. You have to be competitive in the market. If I talk about Arvind Eye Care, please understand Arvind Eye Care is not successful because it is a charity. It is successful because it is a world-class product. World-class. They have PG students coming from US to study how they do it, how they operate, how they manage the whole system in India, because they're competitive. So social entrepreneurship does not mean people will excuse you for a shoddy product. They will not do that. They will never excuse you for that, right? I can give any number of examples, any product you pick where people have failed just because they are not up to the market. Okay, that is all I wanted to share. So any more points, or can we go to the exercise? Because we're losing time. I would like to ask Dr. Nisha Pandey. Madam, can I have you please?
Hello, sir.
Yes, you are. Can you please identify?
Sir.
Hello. You can you please identify?
Sir, Lenin Pan.
Yes.
From
Please
Government Polytechnic, Nainital.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Sir, Lenin Pan.
बोलिए.
Sir, so many times I have seen that in case of social innovators or social entrepreneurs, competitors hardly matters for social innovators, because they are highly focused on the pains of the deprived section. So they hardly bother about the competitors they have to face in future.
There are in Mr.
So by
Lenin,
this way,
I agree. Lenin ji, आप जो बता रहे हैं, I completely agree. There are many interesting cases I can give you site to explain, but we are running short of time. We'll definitely take it offline, and I will share my email ID. We can correspond. But अभी हमको एक time के अंदर कुछ खत्म करना है ना. Let's finish that first, and we can take it offline. ठीक है?
Okay,
Dr.
sir,
Pandey, Dr. Nisha Pandey. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Ask me.
Yes. So is there? What is the time we have now?
You still have 1 hour.
Sorry.
One more hour.
We have 1 more hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do in this case is I will quickly. There are 3 steps that I want you to follow. Step 1, I have shared. We have shared 3 folders with you. Okay. In one of the folders, you have 21 case studies. 21 case studies. Out of that, I would encourage you to pick the case number which is your room number. मैं आपको अभी breakout room में एक अलग room में डाल दूंगा. ठीक है? 3 of you randomly. So you have to pick the case number which is same as the team number or room number you are in. वो हो गया. Once you have picked the case, I want you to create 2 slides. Okay. Slide 1 क्या होगा, slide 2 क्या होगा, वो आपको असाइनमेंट टेम्पलेट करके फोल्डर है, सेकंड फोल्डर जो है उसमें मिल जाएगा, ठीक है. So once you have filled up those 2 slides, please mail it to Professor. Can you please share the email ID on the chat? Professor, hello. Professor Matre, can you please share the email ID they should send it to?
Yes, Pranjali. Yeah. I will share.
Yes. So once you have created these 2 slides from the assignment templates, you can mail it to Professor Pranjal, and we will take up randomly 3 slides for a small discussion where you will, the presenter will present whoever from your team has created those slides. We'll talk about these 2 slides, and then we will have a discussion. Even if you are not able to create a second slide, which might need little thought, you have to look at the first slide. Now, what is the slide and what is the case study? The case study is a social entrepreneurship venture that has been created in some part of the world, right? They're case slates, not exactly long case studies, small 1-page case slates. Padne mein, I'm sure as your faculty, you must be reading so many pages, so you should not take more than 5 or 6 minutes to read and understand what is it talking about. Now, what I want you to do is you have to create some kind of an ad lib value proposition. Ad lib value proposition. It's a simple statement which I explained now. First part, imagine that you were a co-founder. Imagine you were a co-founder in that company, the case study that you are reading, and if you were to create the value proposition canvas, how would you write it? जो केस स्टडी आप पढ़ रहे हो, आप मान लो वो केस स्टडी जब आप पढ़ रहे हो, आप उसके को-फाउंडर हो. You are not a reader, you are a co-founder of that company, और आप पहली बार अपना value proposition लिख रहे हो, तो आप क्या लिखोगे अपनी value proposition में based on the case study? That is all I want you to do, and then we can have a small discussion. Second part is more interesting, but I don't think we'll have time for that. So अगर कर पाओ तो अच्छी बात है. If even one of you does it, I will definitely show it to you and share how it is done. So now I am starting the breakout rooms, and I will quickly assign 3 of you into breakout rooms. You have to quickly introduce yourself to each other. I'm sure we are all faculty and you must be doing it many times with your students, so you can do it faster. आप half an hour के अंदर. So this is like 3:16 by my watch, 3:16, and we will again close the breakout rooms by maybe 3:45. Okay.
Sir, we have time till 4 o'clock.
No, I know, but we'll have to also start
15 minutes for discussion actually.
Yes. Please do not worry.
Shakti,
yes, madam.
we need to finish by 4 because our next.
Yes.
You know who is coming? Our Ashutosh is coming, who has designed this travel. Which travel? Jagriti Yatra. Yes. So that is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to listen him. And it's not request, I would say, it is my really clear instruction that you all have to join this next session. Of course, Shakti sessions and the next session. Yesterday, what I observed that all of you started leaving the meeting. So we will see the last session and we will observe your attendance from the Zoom link, not from the normal Google link. Of course, we'll see the Google link because we have taken really too much effort to invite him in this program.
But I can vouch for it. We had invited him sometime back in one of the sessions at IIT Bombay. He is a fabulous speaker. I must say. I can vouch for it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know. So and that he is doing wonderful job, and it is that yesterday I talked about orbit shift. No one can think about yatra like booking a train and go to the village and then meet social entrepreneurs.
So sorry, madam, can I start the breakout room?
Yes.
We'll keep the breakout room session very short, maybe like 15 minutes. So once I have just 3 slides, I'll close it and we'll again come back here. So please don't leave and try to at least look at the case studies, right?
Right.
One slide, not 2 slides, just the first slide. Okay.
Yes.
Pranjal ma'am, sorry to disturb you now. See, there are
Yes.
team.
Yeah. I'm
I
SAP
myself doesn't
basically.
know- Yeah, I myself doesn't know which team I belong to.
No need. I'll put everybody in some team. Don't worry. Everybody would be in some team.
Okay, fine. Because there are some caselets. So can I choose any one and
Yes.
then start
Please
with-
go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Now I've opened the breakout rooms for all the candidates, all the participants. You can start your discussion and start getting the first slide only out of the two.
Participants, you are supposed to join the rooms fast. We can see there are many of you still not joined. Room number 1, Aditya, Aditi, and who is this admin? Then room number 2, Ajit Kumar Barode, the twice entries. Then room number 3, Aparajita. Room number 4, Deepak Rajan. Room number 5, Dr. Heta. Room number 6, Dr. S. Ramesh Babu and Ramesh Kumar. Room number 7, room number 8, Jaleshri and Jeannie. Shakti, there are a request coming from Kaushumbi Chaudhary, room number 9.
Yes. Is there a problem she's facing, Kausumi Chaudhary? Is she alone? She can just create a slide. Kausumi can create a slide. without waiting. If any one of you is single person in a team, you can just start reading a case study and create a slide. Don't worry for the team members to join. Don't wait for them. Start working.
Kumar Sharma also asked for some help, room number 21.
Okay, so room 9, let me join.
So Veni has put one message in the group. Shakti, for you. You're muted.
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so she's writing that, sir, there are only 2 people in this team and there is no team 22. I mean, case study 22.
No, I have till cases 21. They can pick any other case. I have cases only till 21. Case study 21. So they can pick any case they like. They can pick any case they like. No worries.
Fine.
Professor Pranjal, hello. Professor
Yes,
Pranjal,
sir.
yes.
Yeah.
So have you started receiving any of these presentations or should we close it?
Just a minute, let me check because I'm simply answering questions on this WhatsApp group because there are many questions which are coming.
If you have received even 2 presentations, we can close the room and have a discussion. The discussion is more important. Yes.
Yeah. Let me check. No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. The moment you receive at least 2, we'll close the rooms.
All right.
So are they interacting with you via WhatsApp?
Yeah, sir, we have Google group, sorry, WhatsApp
okay.
group as
WhatsApp
well now.
group. Okay.
Yeah, so for last 2 days we have been interacting with each other. So now these people are interacting with me.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So you are from Delhi, sir?
No, I am from Odisha because I have studied in the Kendriya Vidyalaya for 10 years. There is this accent neutralization.
I thought you are from Delhi.
No, I studied in Delhi for 2 years. I was there for like 2.5 years. TERI University, the Energy
Yes,
and
sir,
Resources.
Puma Sharma has some problem. She's continuously asking, can you please join room number 21 and help her?
It's the same problem. The participants have left in some groups, the other members.
Okay, I have informed on the group. See, not a problem. Ekla chalo re.
That is the whole spirit of entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
Members will drop, co-founders will leave. Can you please again check?
My only one I have. No. Even it's not there. My mail is on only. So I'm working on my laptop. See, there are 2 computers which I'm working continuously.
Okay.
So my laptop is on, and I'm just looking, and I've already messaged them on WhatsApp. Send me your presentation as soon as it finishes. So I'm waiting for them.
Okay, so can you please send the second message that we'll close the room in 2 minutes? Whatever you have done, they must share. Just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that we have a good discussion, and you can. I will stop screen sharing. You can share the presentation from your end, and we'll just comment on it, all of us.
Yes. Let them come. Hello. Nothing has come, Shakti, so far, although they have seen messages. I cannot hear you. Yes, Kaushambi, you wanted some help?
Yes, sir. Actually, I thought to select the case number 11 of Biotrink, but I got the case number 9. So I'm just, all total, I'm very much, I can say, I'm not getting anything in my mind right now what to do.
Whatever is coming, just prepare one slide according to the templates which are given and send me across. So that at least we will have to see. Discussion is more important. What you are preparing should be very much appropriate. It is nothing meant. So you prepare whatever is coming and send me.
Okay, sir. Over here, shall I share the screen or shall I mail it to Pranjal?
Yeah. I've sent you this Zoom chat box. My mail pranjal.mullet@vs.ac.in.
Okay.
So we will pick 2 of them and then we'll throw it to discussion in our main box. I mean, in the main. It is not in the this thing normal main session in.
Okay, so I will share the screen of that particular thing now.
You just send it to me. I will share. I mean, we'll pick and we will share.
Sir, that actually a value proposition template only, na?
So whatever is there, I have not seen because he has shared with me and I actually had shared with you all. So you just select one template from there. There is a second folder template. So select one template from there.
Okay, sir. So I will just mail it to you, sir, right now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello, Shakti, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. No. I think Shakti is talking to someone else in another breakout room.
Professor Pranjal, I am talking to you only. Professor Pranjal, should we close the rooms now?
See, I just had a word with Kaushambi. I went to room number 9. I had a word with Kaushambi. She was a little confused, but she is now preparing a template and sending it to me now.
Okay.
And others I don't know because I could join only room number 9. What others are doing, I really don't know. Let me check. I don't have any message.
You can see your mail once.
I am continuously on my mail. No, it's parallel started. It is just the second computer which is on. So I will receive only Kaushambi because she has told me that she will send me.
Okay. I have closed the rooms. In the next 40 seconds, all the rooms will close.
Have you broadcast this message so that everyone can?
No, I think they'll understand because that is the time limit. So automatically it will close. They'll understand.
Sakti sir, this is Dr. Amrish. Are you listening to me?
Yes, Dr. Amrish, please go ahead.
Actually, I have prepared my PPT. If you allow, then I will share because there is only, I was joined by only one member in my
No issues.
Number 5.
No issues. We can start with your PPT. Please share. I have stopped screen sharing. You can start sharing your screen.
Okay, just give me. When visible, and let me know.
No.
Not visible.
No, your screen is not visible.
I think it's visible.
Dr. Amrish, your voice is also very much cracking. I think you have some bandwidth issue. You are not even audible
Maybe
properly.
possible, sir. Now it's visible.
No.
I can off video. Let's do it first.
Yes, now visible.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but your voice is very much cracking. But yeah, you're audible in splits.
Because
now not audible. We cannot hear you now. We can see your screen. There are 2 slides.
no, I'm not speaking anything because
Yes. Now I can see. Please go ahead.
Is busy on post.
No. I can see you now. You can go ahead. Yes. There are some urgent call. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Somebody was doing a screen share, na? Please go ahead.
Yeah. Now even I have got 2 PPTs. One from Lakshmi Priya and one from Alka Chauhan. So we'll pick one from them.
Yes. Anyone. I just want to show you like what you have done and how we can improve it. That's all. Anyone will do. Can this participant share it from their end?
Dr. Amrish is saying there is a network issue. Can I share somebody else then?
Anyone. Please start. Let's not wait. The other speaker must be ready by now.
Yes.
So let's not wait.
So shall I share mine then?
Please go ahead, madam.
Lakshmi
Please go
Priya
ahead.
here.
Please go ahead, madam. Please go ahead.
Yeah, 1 minute. Just give me a minute.
Very good, madam. Very good.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So what we got was, we were team 10 and it was Ashoka that we got.
Good.
So what we understood from the caselet was about the kind of support that they give social entrepreneurs and social initiatives in trying to solve social problems using unconventional methods, which probably do not get much appreciation or acceptance from government or from society. That's what we understood. So using that template,
Sorry. Can you please repeat? Can you please go back? What you understood from the template, the caselet was?
About Ashoka, because the caselet was on Ashoka, where we understood that this whole organization was about supporting entrepreneurs who undertake social entrepreneurship initiatives and giving them fellowships in the form of support stipends as well as networking to try and test out unconventional methods which probably do not get the kind of go ahead from the government and or the society. And the organization basically helps you in terms of building, the kind of confidence and reaching out to specific, pockets in the society whom you can convince and take ahead.
Perfect. Now,
Should I continue, sir?
I would just request you, because we're running short of time. I would just request you to tell me the different points. Like, could you find competitors of Ashoka?
Pardon me?
Could you find competitors of Ashoka?
Not really to the extent what Ashoka is doing.
Okay, good. Okay.
But yes, there are support groups like that.
Good. You got it. So now we'll take, we have a request from Miss Khanna, Smriti Khanna. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes,
you can stop sharing. Yes. Now, next to go is Miss Smriti Khanna. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm sharing my screen.
Please.
Is my screen visible?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm group number 19. And I had met only with one member, Mr. Sumant Shah, in this group, and the third member was not responding. And what we learned from this was, as we got the case study number 19, it was about Sun Lab.
Labab, yes.
Sun Labab.
Yes.
They're working. I'm sorry, I just missed to write help over there. They're helping the population in the country of Laos, Laos. Wherein the grid electricity, as the country was very, very poor and they were fighting 20 years of war, so they were not able to develop that infrastructure. Hence, this they saw the I'm sorry, I won't be able to pronounce the name. Is it Shoretz?
It's okay, madam. It's okay. Not a problem.
Right.
Yes.
So he identified this not as a problem, but as an opportunity to operate as profitable full service energy providers, selling hardware and providing commercially viable energy service for remote areas where the grid electricity is not available. How are they going to do it? This is going to help in reducing the inhuman living conditions of the half of the population that is facing with energy crisis, as well as the financial crisis of buying kerosene and stuff like that. And the aim is to provide the population with viable energy solutions. The competitor here is the government grids, which is expensive and unreliable.
Very good. So I really liked it. I think there is some cross communication going on. Yes. So I really liked it. Very good. And I think there is a request from Dr. Achudan, but I'm so sorry we're running short of time. I would like to take the remaining time to take some completely, off the record questions that you would like to ask. I mean, something that is not related directly to the discussion, but related to entrepreneurship that you would like to ask. Any free questions that you would like to ask? Please go ahead. Any questions that you would like to ask related to entrepreneurship and the topics that we discussed?
I have a question.
Please, madam.
So what is the basic difference between entrepreneurship and startup? Is there a difference?
Okay. For that, I would start with the difference between being entrepreneurial and entrepreneurship, right? Now, anything you can see around you can give you ideas to start something. Let's say I am drinking water from a paper cup. Now, this can give me 200 different ideas. How do I advertise on a paper cup? How can this replace plastic cups and prevent the social evil of having plastic clogging and so on and so forth, right? Now, that gives me idea and that makes me an entrepreneur. But everybody cannot become an entrepreneur, right? Everybody can be entrepreneurial. But let's say I'm a teacher, right? I cannot leave everything and start something. But I can always be entrepreneurial. Like whatever I am doing, I can try to do it in a better way, in a more creative way, in a more innovative way. So if you understand these two differences, you can understand the difference between entrepreneurship and startup. Everything that is related to entrepreneurship did not become a startup. That is not important. Okay. Right? Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the social enterprise, we have a question from Dr. Ramesh Kumar Natesan. Does the social enterprise fit well within our organization and extend its articulated mission? Social enterprise, okay. When you say our organization, do you mean your college or you mean our country, our state? Dr. Ramesh.
Regarding the country.
Okay. Now this is a very interesting question again, but I don't think we have the time to engage in the kind of long conversation it needs. It actually would, So many cultures exist where, giving is a way of life. Giving is a way of life, right? Many cultures encourage that. If you look at somebody like Mother Teresa, she is not an Indian. She was not an Indian, but she came from a culture where giving was big, right? So social enterprise or social, these kind of social ventures will thrive in places where giving is a way of life, right? If giving is not a way of life, they have to come closer to their commercial counterparts. One prominent example I would like to quote is TOMS, T-O-M-S. You can Google and find about them. Now, what these guys do is they sell different types of products. Let's say glasses, eyeglasses, right? So for every pair of eyeglass you buy from Tomes at market price, they would donate a cheap eyeglass to a very poor boy in Africa, right? So this is where they marry the two essentials of having a commercial venture and having a social venture. So if I am able to tell you that whenever you are looking at a problem statement which needs to be solved this way without charity, then I think our session is a success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, we have just 9 more minutes to go before we close today's session. Now, if you do not have any more questions, may I request you to share your comments and feedback on how you found today's session. You can give it in a chat so that I can save it for posterity and share it with my boss, right? How did you find today's session, right? Anything good, anything that can be improved, anything that we could have added to make it more useful for what you wanted to learn from this session? Please, you can give a reply in a chat.
They can share also. They can share. Anyone can start sharing.
Yes.
We are recording.
Now, this is one of the best parts of working with Dr. Pandey, that she takes feedback very, very seriously.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir,
Please.
this is Smriti Khanna. I'm working as head of department in Aravali College of Engineering Management, Faridabad. So this was a very, very engaging session, though it is an afternoon session and everybody must have had their lunch, but we were on our toes and ready for the assignment, which is very exciting. And these sort of little assignments that keep us engaged and time-bound stuff, which we need to just send across quickly, it energizes the mind into learning process.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Khanna. Yes. Any more feedback? It need not be always good feedback. It can be constructive feedback also that we can improve on, and maybe the future sessions can be more lively and meaningful. Yes. Can we identify?
Government Polytechnic Nainital.
Yes, Mr. Lenin. Yes, please go ahead.
So,
What we observing,
network issue.
What we observing, only few people from the day one, they are sharing experience or they are asking question or whatever, they're active. And these are very few. Others are really muted themselves technologically, technically, as well as physically. They are not at all sharing or writing or in chat box, nothing. I don't know why it is happening. Maybe, yeah, Amrish ji.
No. I also shared in the morning. It's a really wonderful session, and especially the cases you have shared. Actually, they will definitely have a good set of glimpse to the people who are still they want to explore more in this field, and they are very interesting from Kalinga to Jopa and all. Few are known and few are actually unknown for me also. And what the templates we have discussed is really very interesting.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have sent 4 of my colleagues to IIT Bombay entrepreneurship program in July 19. That was the program TQ funded, and that they have shared a very good experience in your center. That is extremely well.
I'm sure they must be knowing me. I was taking care of the entire tech thing.
I have just known they said the center is actually IIT Bombay has developed.
Yeah, anyone else? You can share your experience.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. First of all, though, thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session, for providing us so much knowledge that we were unaware of. I just want to share my personal experience of this session. That is the exercise activity you actually conducted. First of all, this is very, very good at its level. And second thing is, I usually do provide my assignments to my students. But when they say that, no, ma'am, so we need some more time or extension of time should be given, that pressure I just felt right now, and I can very well understand that what pressures they must have gone through. And this is a very new experience for me. So I will try to, incorporate that into my practices, that within the deadline, within the 5 minutes or 2 minutes of exercise activity, how to perform. Though I did not, I submitted it, but I got late, so I'm really sorry for that.
No
But,
worries. The whole exercise was designed to give you a taste of how it should be conducted. It is just for your training also, and giving you a taste of what actually the students undergo or.
Actually, sir, actually it does means the faculty development program. Now, whatever exercises you
good. Appreciate, madam. Yes.
Faculty develop. It has developed in me right now also. 2 minutes ago also, I got this development in me. I came to experience this feeling. So thank you so much to all the organizers and to you too, sir. Thank you so much.
Please understand, it's again something I'd like to admit before everybody, that this is not a typical slide or a deck that I picked and we already have the deck ready and shoot it before you. Right, we actually planned it over a long discussion, and then we iterated it. I wanted to do something else. Dr. Pandey said, no, Shakti, this will not work. We'll do it in a little different way. There's a lot of iteration to perfect it to this stage. So I really congratulate Dr. Pandey for that.
Juggled up our minds, and this is very, very exciting to participate.
Good.
I am just looking forward for more these kind of, where I can. Obviously, I can develop my skills and all those things. I can develop my initiatives. I can develop my, workings and all. My efficiencies also.
If we can achieve the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat, if you can make it, make India a $5 billion, economy in the next 3-4 years, I think these kind of sessions would actually achieve their goals. It is not to just interact and learn something interesting. It is to actually create impact. Entrepreneurship is about impact. Yes.
Surely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Nishaman. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. If we can create change out of 110, so we have achieved too much.
Definitely, ma'am.
You're right,
Definitely.
You're right, madam.
Definitely, ma'am.
If we can develop 2 out of 100, 10 out of 100.
Execution is the thing. Execution is the word. We have to execute each and everything. Whatever we are learning, that is the point.
100% is not possible. 100% is not possible.
Yeah, some up to certain extent we can do that. Yes, surely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for organizing such a wonderful session. Really, a ton of thanks to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
मैं बहुत मोटी होने वाली हूँ अभी.
No, ma'am. No.
Okay, thank you.
So can we close the session now, madam, or is there any other activity?
Just wait.
Okay.
I will just Pranjal sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any update about Ashutosh ji?
Not yet. Let me check.
Not yet.
Okay, so then what we can do is we can take some more questions on entrepreneurship till he joins.
Yes.
The moment he joins, I can
take some question.
Yes, please go ahead. Any questions that you have? Any of the participants?
Yeah, I have. I think he has joined.
He has joined. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, are you there?
Yeah, he has joined. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think I can sign off. I have a class at 5:30.
Okay, so Shakti, you can be here. You listen him again.
No, I would love to, madam. I would have loved to, but there is some role that I have to play, the same course,